Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been an hour into reading the news on your iPad? Or maybe catching up with the grandkids on Facebook? And you realize your eyes just feel tired? Maybe they're a little blurry, a little gritty, or you have that dull, persistent headache forming right behind your temples. And if you've ever told yourself, well, this is just part of getting older, I'm here today to respectfully challenge that idea. The truth is, that discomfort you're feeling has a name: digital eye strain. And while it's incredibly common, it is absolutely not a life sentence. In fact, what if I told you that the very device causing the problem also holds the keys to solving it, often with just a few simple taps of your finger? Stick with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a complete, step-by-step guide to using your iPad, your phone, and your computer without letting them wear out your eyes. We're going to transform your relationship with your technology from one of frustration and worry to one of comfort and control. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. We're going to be talking about a topic that affects millions of us, especially as we get older and find that our eyes might not be as forgiving as they once were. We're diving deep into the Retiree's Guide to Digital Eye Strain. Now, first things first, I want to acknowledge that word, retiree. It's a label, and it certainly doesn't define who you are. The information we're covering today is for any older adult who enjoys their technology and wants to continue using it to stay connected, informed, and engaged with the world, without the physical discomfort. You've earned the time to read that digital book, to video chat with family across the country, to manage your finances online, and you deserve to do it comfortably. The problem is, as many of us have discovered, our devices can be demanding on our vision. That feeling of eye fatigue, dryness, blurry vision, and even headaches is what the medical community, including institutions like the Mayo Clinic, often calls computer vision syndrome. Now, before we go any further, I want to be very clear about something to put your mind at ease. There's a lot of fear-mongering online about this topic. You might have seen articles or ads that make you worry that staring at your phone is causing permanent, irreversible damage to your eyes. So let's get this out of the way right now. The American Academy of Ophthalmology, which is the country's leading association of eye physicians and surgeons, states very clearly that there is no scientific evidence that blue light from device screens causes any damage to the eye. The discomfort is real, but the fear of permanent harm from the screen itself is largely unfounded. So you can take a deep breath. We aren't here to scare you. We're here to empower you. Our goal today is simple: to give you 7 practical, evidence-based strategies that will dramatically reduce your eye strain and allow you to use your devices with confidence. We'll cover everything from simple settings on your iPad you might not know exist, to the surprising truth about blinking and why the famous 20-20-20 rule might not be enough. You'll definitely want to stick around for our final point. It's the single most powerful change you can make, and you can do it in less than 60 seconds. And a quick but important reminder: I'm not a doctor or an ophthalmologist. This video is for informational and educational purposes only and is based on publicly available information from reputable health organizations. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult with your personal eye doctor for any concerns about your vision health. They are your best resource for personalized care. All right, let's jump in. We're going to count down from 7, starting with the foundational bedrock of all good eye health. Coming in at number 7 is a step that happens away from your screen, but is arguably the most important of all. Schedule regular, comprehensive eye exams. I know, it's not a glamorous tech tip, but hear me out. Do you ever find yourself wondering, Is this eye strain from my tablet, or is this just my vision changing with age? That is the million-dollar question, and only a professional can answer it for you. As we get older, our risk for developing serious vision-threatening conditions like glaucoma, cataracts, and age-related macular degeneration naturally increases. Digital eye strain can sometimes mask or mimic the early symptoms of these conditions. A little blurriness that you blame on your phone could actually be the beginning of a cataract. That's why a yearly dilated eye exam is so crucial. It's not just about checking if you need new glasses. It's a full health check for your eyes. Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to fix a knocking sound in your car's engine by just turning up the radio. You'd take it to a mechanic to find the root cause. Your eyes are far more precious than any car. I have a friend, let's call him David, a retired teacher, who for months was convinced his new tablet was giving him terrible headaches. He tried everything, dimming the screen, taking breaks, but nothing worked. Finally, his wife convinced him to go for an eye exam. It turned out his eyeglass prescription was significantly out of date. His eyes were working overtime, not just to look at the screen, but to compensate for the wrong prescription. A new pair of glasses solved 90% of his problem overnight. His story is incredibly common, so the clear action step here is simple. If it has been more than a year, call your eye doctor and schedule a comprehensive exam. Be sure to tell them how much time you spend on your digital devices and at what distances you typically view them. This is your non-negotiable first step. It ensures you're building your digital habits on a foundation of genuine eye health, not just guesswork. Now that we've established that essential foundation of professional care, let's move into your home environment. This brings us to number 6. Optimize your viewing environment. It's amazing how often we fight with our screens when the real problem is the light around them. Think about this scenario. It's a bright, sunny afternoon, and you're sitting in your favorite armchair with your back to a big window, trying to read an article on your iPad. You find yourself squinting, turning the screen brightness all the way up, and tilting the device to dodge that annoying white glare. That entire battle is a direct cause of eye strain. Your eyes are struggling to adjust between the intensely bright light from the window and the screen in front of you. The science behind this is pretty straightforward. Your pupils have to constrict to handle the bright glare, while your eye muscles are also trying to focus on the text. The goal is to create a visual environment with as little conflict as possible. So here's the action step. Take a look at where you typically use your phone or tablet. Is there a bright lamp right behind you? Are you facing a window, or is a window directly behind you? The best position, according to experts at the Cleveland Clinic, is to have your screen positioned so that windows are to the side of you, not in front or behind. For artificial lighting, avoid harsh, direct overhead lights. Softer, ambient lighting from lamps is generally much easier on the eyes. The second part of this is matching your screen brightness to your room's lighting. A screen that looks perfectly bright in a dark room will seem dim and hard to read in a sunny one. Conversely, a screen that's cranked up to maximum brightness in a dark room can feel like you're staring into a spotlight. Your device almost certainly has an auto brightness feature in its settings. I highly recommend turning this on. It uses a small sensor to adjust the screen's brightness automatically to match your surroundings, taking one more piece of visual work off your plate. So before you blame the device, take a moment to control your environment. Close the blinds, reposition your chair, and let auto brightness do its job. It's a simple change that can yield a huge feeling of relief. We've just talked about the light around your screen, which naturally leads us to our next point, because it's the other half of the physical setup equation. Coming in at number 5, Position your devices correctly. This one is about ergonomics, which is just a fancy word for setting things up so they are efficient and safe for the human body. Have you ever noticed that after a long session on your tablet, it's not just your eyes that are sore, but also your neck and shoulders? That's because it's all connected. I remember watching my own father trying to read on his first smartphone. He'd hold it about 6 inches from his face and be completely hunched over, his neck bent at a sharp angle. He'd complain about headaches, and we all just assumed it was the screen. But a huge part of it was his posture. The American Academy of Ophthalmology recommends a very specific setup for ideal viewing. Your screen, whether it's a computer monitor, a tablet, or a phone, should be about an arm's length away from your face. That's roughly 25 inches. The second key is the height. The center of the screen should be positioned slightly below eye level, about 15 to 20 degrees. This allows you to look slightly downward without having to bend your neck. This slight downward gaze is also a more natural and relaxed position for your eyelids, which can help reduce the evaporation of tears and keep your eyes from drying out as quickly. So here's your action plan. Next time you sit down with your device, extend your arms straight out. The screen should be about where your fingertips end. If you're using a tablet on a table, invest in a simple stand. They are inexpensive and allow you to prop the tablet up at a comfortable viewing angle instead of having it lie flat. If you're reading on your phone in a chair, try propping your elbow on a pillow to bring the phone up to the right height and distance without straining your arm. It might feel a little strange at first, but giving your eyes and your neck this gift of proper distance and angle will pay huge dividends in comfort. From the physical setup of your space, let's transition to a topic that gets a ton of buzz and causes a lot of confusion. This brings us to number 4. Manage blue light for better sleep. Now, this is a big one, and we need to tread carefully because there's so much misinformation out there. You've almost certainly heard that the blue light emitted from our screens is bad for us. It's led to a massive market for special screen filters and blue light blocking glasses, with many people buying them in the hope of reducing digital eye strain. Here, we're going to use our empathetic sandwich. It makes perfect sense why people are concerned about blue light. We're told it's a high-energy wavelength, and the idea of that beaming into our eyes for hours sounds scary. Buying a pair of blue light blocking glasses feels like a proactive, protective step, and that intention is absolutely a good thing. However, here comes the critical information. As we mentioned earlier, the best scientific evidence we have to date from major ophthalmology groups does not support the idea that blue light from screens causes retinal damage or digital eye strain. A large review of 17 different studies published in 2023 found no high-quality evidence that these glasses did anything to reduce eye fatigue from computer use. So here's the empowered, intelligent choice. Instead of spending money on glasses that likely won't help your eye strain, we can focus on what blue light is actually proven to do. Disrupt your sleep cycle. Your brain interprets blue light, which is also abundant in natural sunlight, as a signal that it's daytime and you should be awake and alert. According to Harvard Medical School, exposure to this light in the evening can suppress the production of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. This can make it harder to fall asleep and can reduce the quality of the sleep you get. So the action step here isn't about protecting your eyes from damage, it's about protecting your sleep. Almost every modern phone, tablet, and computer has a built-in feature, often called night shift on Apple devices or night light on others. You can find it in your display settings. This feature automatically shifts the colors of your screen away from the blue end of the spectrum and toward warmer, yellower tones in the evening. You can set it to turn on automatically from sunset to sunrise. The even better advice, endorsed by sleep experts everywhere, is to try to put your screens away entirely for an hour or two before you plan to go to bed. Read a physical book. Listen to music. Let your brain and your eyes have a true break. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. We are more than halfway through our 7 strategies, and you are doing great. We've covered the absolute necessity of a professional eye exam, how to set up your room and your device for success, and we've demystified the topic of blue light. You're already armed with some of the most effective tools to combat digital eye strain. If you're finding this guide helpful and are learning something new, I would be so grateful if you took just 1 second to tap that like button below this video. It doesn't cost you anything, but it tells YouTube that this is valuable information, and it helps other people who are dealing with the exact same frustrations find this guide. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's get back to it with one of the most well-known but often misunderstood pieces of advice. At number 3, we have take meaningful breaks and why we need to go beyond the 20-20-20 rule. If you've looked up eye strain before, you've probably come across the 20-20-20 rule. It's catchy and easy to remember. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And let me be clear, this rule is a fantastic starting point. It's far, far better than doing nothing. Its purpose is to give your eyes focusing muscles, called the ciliary muscles, a momentary break from the intense, close-up work of looking at a screen. But, and this is a big but, for many people, it's simply not enough. Think about it like this. If you were lifting a heavy box, would setting it down for just 20 seconds be enough for your arms to feel fully recovered? Probably not. Some research suggests that 20 seconds may not be a long enough duration for those ciliary muscles to fully relax. Furthermore, the 20-minute interval can be tough to stick to. You get absorbed in an article, we're in the middle of a video call, and before you know it, an hour has passed. My own mother used to set a timer on her kitchen counter, but she'd get so focused on her genealogy research that she'd just turn it off and keep going, telling herself just 1 more minute. That 1 minute would turn into another 30, and then the headache would set in. So while the 20-20-20 rule is a good reminder for micro breaks, let's upgrade to the concept of macro breaks. The action step is to supplement it with a longer break at least once an hour. This doesn't have to be complicated. Set a timer for 50 minutes. When it goes off, don't just look out the window. Physically get up. Walk into the kitchen and get a glass of water. Step out onto the porch for a few minutes. Go look at the leaves on a tree in your yard. The key is to get up, move your body, and focus your eyes on a variety of distances, near, middle, and far. This does 2 things. First, it gives your eye muscles a much more substantial rest. Second, it gets your blood flowing and helps relieve the neck, back, and shoulder stiffness that comes from sitting in one position for too long. If you know you get easily absorbed, use the technology to help you. There are free apps for both computers and phones that will literally freeze your screen for a few minutes every hour, forcing you to take that break. It might sound annoying, but after a few days, you'll come to appreciate that mandatory rest. It's a small discipline that prevents a much larger problem. Taking a break gives your focusing muscles a rest, but what about the surface of your eye itself? That feeling of dryness, grittiness, or burning is a huge part of eye strain, and it has a very simple cause we need to address. This brings us to number 2. Master the art of blinking. This might sound almost ridiculously simple, but I promise you, it is a game changer. Here is one of the most startling statistics about digital eye strain. A study cited by the National Institutes of Health found that, on average, people blink about 15 to 20 times per minute. It's an unconscious reflex that spreads a fresh layer of tears across the surface of your eye, keeping it smooth, clear, and comfortable. Think of your tear film like the washer fluid on your car's windshield. A quick swipe of the wiper blade or a blink clears everything away. But here's what happens when we stare at a screen. Our blink rate plummets. Some studies show it can drop by more than half, sometimes to as low as just 3 to 7 blinks per minute. When you don't blink, that tear film starts to evaporate, leaving dry spots on the surface of your cornea. The windshield gets smeary and dry. This is what causes that classic gritty, burning sensation. It's not the screen attacking your eyes. It's your eyes drying out because you've forgotten to maintain them. I once had an eye doctor explain it to me with a great analogy. He said, imagine you're so engrossed in a movie that you forget to breathe. Eventually, your body would force you to gasp for air. Staring at a screen is like holding your breath with your eyes. So the action step is to become a conscious blinker, at least for a little while. We need to retrain that reflex. Here's a simple exercise. A few times every hour, just stop and blink slowly and deliberately 10 times. Close your eyes as if you're slowly savoring the movement, letting your eyelids gently touch, and then open them again. This does two things. It relubricates the entire surface of your eye, and it reminds your brain to keep the automatic blinking going. Some people put a little sticky note on the edge of their monitor or tablet that just says blink. It sounds silly, but these little cues work. If your eyes feel persistently dry, even with more frequent blinking, it's also perfectly fine to use over-the-counter lubricating eye drops, often labeled as artificial tears. Just be sure to choose a brand that is preservative-free, especially if you plan to use them more than a couple of times a day. But start with the blinking. It's free, it's natural, and it is one of the most effective weapons you have against that dry, irritated feeling. We've covered your doctor, your environment, your posture, your breaks, and your blinking. Now we arrive at our number one strategy. This is the tip that can provide the most immediate and profound relief, and it's built right into the device you're holding. Our number one way to combat digital eye strain is adjust your device's accessibility settings. For so many of us, the biggest fight we have with our devices is simply trying to read them. The text is too small, the icons are tiny, and the contrast between the words and the background is weak. You find yourself squinting, holding the phone closer to your face, which we already know causes neck strain, and your eyes get tired from the sheer effort of deciphering the content. It's like trying to read a newspaper in a dimly lit room. A friend of mine's mother, a wonderful woman in her late 70s named Carol, got her first iPad and was so excited. But within a week, she was ready to give up. She said, "I can't read anything on this. It gives me a headache." I sat down with her, and in her settings menu, we made two simple changes that took less than a minute. First, we went into display and brightness and turned on bold text. Second, we went into accessibility, then display and text size, and we moved the larger text slider up a few notches. The change was instantaneous. Her face lit up. "Oh," she said, "now I can see it." She went from frustrated and defeated to empowered and excited in 60 seconds. This is the power that is waiting for you inside your device's settings menu. You do not have to accept the default factory settings. They were designed for the eyes of a 25-year-old. You have the power to customize the device to fit your eyes. So here is your number one action step. As soon as this video is over, I want you to go into your device's settings. Look for the accessibility section. This is your command center for comfort. Explore the options. Make the text larger, make it bolder. There's even a setting called increase contrast, which can make text even more legible by reducing background transparency. Don't be shy about it. Slide that text size up until it feels genuinely comfortable to read from a proper arm's length distance. This isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of intelligence. You are tailoring your tool to work for you, not the other way around. Of all the things we've talked about today, this single action will likely give you the biggest and fastest return on your investment of time. It directly reduces the primary work your eyes have to do, which is simply trying to see. So there you have it, 7 powerful practical strategies to take control of digital eye strain. Let's do a quick victory lap and recap the wins you've just collected. You now know that the first and most important step is to establish a baseline of health with a regular, comprehensive eye exam. You know how to set up your room and your lighting to make reading effortless. The core message I hope you take away from our time together today is one of empowerment. That feeling of eye fatigue and frustration is not an inevitable part of aging that you just have to endure. It is a solvable problem. You have the knowledge and the tools to make your digital life a comfortable, enjoyable, and enriching one. You can stay connected with those you love, stay informed about the world, and pursue your passions online without paying a physical price for it. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these 7 points was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it the truth about blue light glasses, the importance of blinking, or the simple power of the accessibility settings? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. Reading your stories and insights helps everyone in this community learn and grow together. And finally, if you enjoyed this deep dive and found it valuable, please be sure to hit subscribe and ring that little notification bell. We create content like this every week, designed to help you navigate health and technology with confidence and clarity. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.